Hello friends and welcome back for another episode of Indie Impressions. My name is Nick and today we're going to be checking out another LD28 game, again with the theme of You Only Get One, and in fact that is the title of our game today. It's called One, but the One, O-N-E, stands for Obscured Non-Physical Expanse, and it's by developer Kronos Z. The essential element of this one is going to be an ambient horror 3D first-person puzzle game. At least that's what the developer says on the LD page. We're going to be traversing a maze of grayscale hallways and corridors that defy the laws of common geometry and space to find an escape. It is made in Java, and it has quite a bit of ambience going on. The first thing I noticed when I booted this up, it sounds very much like it's raining. And that's not necessarily something that I would always put with horror, but it does definitely aid in the ambience, and it makes you kind of wonder, is it rain? Is it static? Am I misunderstanding what it is that I'm hearing? Because usually rain, it's usually dark, and it's cloudy, and it's murky, and this is very much the opposite, unless we're seeing things inverted, which could be a whole different thing. And the other thing I've noticed is when you walk, you almost sound like you're making the sound of a drip into a bucket, which is something that I think inherently might establish a little bit of anxiety in a lot of players, or a lot of people in general. And I don't know how much of that psychologically is going to play into making this an unsettling experience. And I'm not sure if there are really any direct scares that are supposed to happen here, but it is at least setting the mood a little bit and giving us a bit of a feel of a tone of what to expect. So I'm hoping that there will be a wall or something that's maybe going to change, or maybe things are just going to keep shifting and kind of phasing through. As you noticed probably when we started things up, there is that effect that's going on, and it seems like things are phasing in and out of existence. I'm just sort of showing you an illustration here. The ground is actually almost pulsating, and I think it's not even just the ground, I think it's all of the space. And if you find yourself looking around a little bit, you actually might notice it almost seems so disconcerting you can't even tell which way is up after a moment. Partially to do with a very short draw distance, which I could kind of probably do without, but I think it goes a long way to establishing that sense of tension. Now, reading the little LD page there, it mentioned that this is an extremely short game and can be solved in under 15 seconds if you know exactly how to make the route through this. So it's sort of a deceptively large space, and I find that very interesting, and it's something that I kind of enjoy finding in games. You know, impossible architecture is something that I guess I have an interest in, even though there's not really any way to, you know, experience that in real life unless you're dealing with things that are more just optical illusions. But this is certainly a difficult space to wrap my mind around. I'm really not sure where I'm going or if I'm actually repeating, and again, largely due to the short draw distance, but the shape of the room isn't really helping any, and the fact that the wall and the floors and potentially even the ceiling all seem to have the exact same texture going on them. Also, another thing I want to shout out, credit where credit is due, the developer did a really great thing, and this being a Java game, I guess this is a slightly different bag when it comes to how you deal with the scripting on this, but I've complained so many times in the past about games that have trouble locking your mouse cursor in. This one, actually, you hit escape, the mouse cursor releases, you hit escape again, the mouse cursor snaps back in. So that is basically perfect, and I wish that everyone could do that. So, minor little thing, but I just thought it deserved mentioning because it's kind of a nice little bonus. So I have no idea where I am going or if I've already been down a certain path. I'm only taking comfort in the fact that this is apparently a very small space, but there's basically nothing to identify one space versus another other than maybe these little pillars, but they seem to be happening in a fairly uniform pattern, so even those aren't really a great indication of where I've been or what I'm doing. And I don't necessarily feel like things are really ramping up, which is kind of an important feeling to have if you're trying to establish a sort of a horror mood. This right now feels like we're very much in a state of stasis, largely to do with this continuous doop, 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 doop of the walking sound. Sort of is giving us a rhythm that isn't really changing at all, and, you know, the sound of the rain as well. There's even a little bit of a thunderclap that has happened on occasion, but it hasn't really struck me as being particularly pronounced in the background, which I guess is fine. You probably don't want it to be too jarring, but at the same time, I feel like that was kind of a good opportunity to sort of snap us out of the daze that we might find ourselves in. Oh, I guess I've done something. It made a sound that was highly irregular for what I've been hearing so far. Does that mean I found a new area, or maybe I went through a gate towards somewhere else? I figured just by sheer luck I probably would wander into one of the correct places I'm supposed to go. I haven't even been able to tell if I've really been finding a lot of crossroads. Again, due to the draw distance. I know I've said this a number of times now, but it is definitely disconcerting. And if the developer was trying to make a very unconventional, space for the player to get lost around in, I think they did a great job on that. I just wish maybe there was a little bit more diversity going on here. Now, I know that the developer didn't really want to make a bunch of landmarks because, keeping things sort of dissonant and confusing, but at the same time, I feel like a few little things from, marked here or there, maybe they even move around, or maybe they make things particularly more confusing because they might show up in different places and might, make you think you've been a place but you actually haven't. I think that could go a long way to at least giving us a little bit of a different visual theme after a while, or maybe have the textures start to morph into something else. Now, I don't seem to find that I'm going anywhere that seems like there's any closure coming, but I have heard a couple of sounds that, yeah, like that one, which is sort of a crawling, sort of like sort of feels like a cocoon or something being built. The sound of webs spinning. I know that's a very strange sound to hear, but that's kind of what I thought of as soon as I heard it. Also, a little bit of interaction wouldn't have been too bad, clicking on some things. Even if they make no actual sense or are just completely surreal or abstract additions to the game world. Right now, this feels a little bit like a screensaver in that we've just been walking endlessly. I guess I haven't really been trying to run into walls too much, which is sort of my own fault there, because maybe there was a way through. But you can't really coast on the walls either. You seem to have to just bump into them and then your movement stops. Probably just a coding thing. Oh, wait, is that a thing? No, I can kind of glitch through that, but I think it's just accidental collision error. Or maybe not error, but like the way that the collision box works with this character. So it doesn't appear that we're really getting anywhere. I'm hoping that there might be a cross path or something, but that doesn't seem to be happening either. Maybe I should really just turn around and go the other direction. I could see it could also be kind of neat if you added an element of verticality. Oh, now there is actually a cross-section to go through. If we had the player go down at some point or up, that could definitely add to the level of confusion and still keep things feeling a little bit fresh. But then again, the fact that there's a way to go up or down might actually make it a little too easy to figure out where you are. So maybe that was an element that was taken into consideration. But it doesn't appear that we're really getting anywhere, so I guess we will wrap up this, again, a pretty short episode. But I figured another game that deserves a quick mention in our LD coverage. I like the concept of it, even though it's this simple. And I just think it has a little bit of room for, manipulating a little bit more, trying to get into some more granular, interesting stuff with this as a core premise. So if you'd like to go try out Obscured Non-Physical Expanse or 1, the link is going to be right in the description, so feel free to go try it yourself. Let me know if you get through it. I'd love to hear if there's an ending or anything kind of neat afterward, or even if it takes you to a different place entirely. I feel like I've taken every possible route, but maybe that's not the case. And let me know what you think of the audio versus the visuals, and if you think they complement each other. I'm kind of curious to know your opinions on that. But that is going to do it for another day, guys. Thank you so much for your attention and being here, and thank you for watching. Feel free to go check through the description, in addition for the link for the game itself, to also check out some of my social media stuff if you're interested. Okay, I just heard something breathing loud. Oh, am I getting somewhere? I don't know if I'm... Maybe I'm finding some new ground all of a sudden. Certainly haven't heard a sound like that yet. Oh, I think I might have heard that sound, though, before. Now that we're adding some extra audio elements, things are all of a sudden starting to become a little bit more into focus. But anyway, what I was saying was, feel free to go check out my description for the, the Twitch page, the Twitter page, the Facebook page, and of course, Indie-Impressions, where I store all 600+ other videos in the series. So check them out, let me know what you think, and be sure to come back again tomorrow. New episodes are every single day, so I will see you back here on the same channel, youtube.com/RockLeeSmile, for even more. So I hope you have a lovely night, and I will see you all tomorrow. Talk to you later.